Okay, so once you finish a tiny experiment, you figure out what you're going to do. For me, I really loved working in the giant journal. So I continued on. I actually didn't do any of these things I wanted to try because I like this so much. I'm going to continue to play in my giant journal, but this time I'm going to do it for 20 days. Since I'm playing, my play can take different forms. This one was did I actually write things? I think I did. These were actually words. So it's a little 3-layer approach. But then look, I wanted to bring these little people into it. So I did. This one was called Make Visible. This was a version of the Lord's Prayer. So we have Our Father who art in heaven, all the way through "Thy will be done" coming in the large letters. And then I came into it with a smaller. On this one, I used a smaller paint pen because I wanted the blacks to be the same. And then I just kept playing with it. Little scenic writing, those little buildings showed up, little words. I did put a little border around it, kind of like that. This one was a "May You Feel Peace." Again, just movement, a little framing, some plants grew up. I don't know what's going on here. Sort of deserty, sort of plant. Have no idea. This one, again, just I'm noticing the organic shapes feel very soothing to me. And then the organic, like vertical lines, the little people, I love doing those. A little bit of the asemic writing. This again was the Pentel Fude brush. This one is pain. And so as this one, whatever was going on that day, needed a place to be. And that's how this journal sort of evolved into of like having my coffee. I was in the colder times of winter and to just let things come onto the page. This one's called Breathe. These are the water soluble graphite, and also the darker is a watercolor pencil. Playing with that with some little specks. A much simpler one. This one started with the Molotov. Notice I left a lot of space. That's another area where I can practice that in here. So I'm practicing in my giant journal, but I can also practice leaving space. I wanted to play with drawing big, bold foliage. This one's called Growth. These were done eyes closed. So I was wanting to explore. So you can see that my container was of Tiny Experiment was 20 days of playing with my journal, but I'm testing out all these different little things that I'm doing in it. For this one, I would close my eyes, grabbed the Molotov, and what I would do is have my hand close to the edge so that I could tell kind of where the edges were. And then I would just move about the page exploring, did my hand have the muscle memory of some type of face? What would come out if my eyes are closed and my mind is thinking face? How would that come out of my hands? And this one was as I was working on my concertina to finish out Journal Pod 25. This one was called Guided by Unseen Hands because eyes were closed. This one, just today is my peaceful day. You'll notice if you look closely, we've got some smears. And those are fine. This one I was exploring line, didn't have a whole bunch of time or energy, and just let the lines go on the page. Did the same thing here with the lines, but with this one, I wanted to play with some contrast. Some of the larger spaces I filled in. With this one, probably a chisel would have been better. This was all I had was a bullet nib. Got those filled in. I've kind of adopted the "Today is my peaceful day" from the monks, and I would add that in. This was the day the monks arrived in DC, February 11th. And so on this page, we have meditation. May all beings be safe, be happy, be healthy, and live in ease. And then over here, these are the doodle sketch people. And I had them take form. I wanted 5 of them. After I'd done all of this, I pulled up the image of the the guy that was the leader of the monks, and he had the little collection of pins. And so I did a few little elements from his wardrobe to add to that. Those were our monks. For this one, I was looking outside. So if you were to stand where I'm standing and you look outside, you would see this tree and you would see this flower pot. The perspective is skewed. On here, notice I did a little repetition, did a little asemic writing, playing with that. This one was a meditation as well. One of the things I'm noticing is the paint pens add a little texture. So if you were to just run your hands over the paper, you can feel where the paint pens are versus where the not. This is that acrylic ink, so other ink does not show up. You can see the contrast, the gray versus the paint pens. And then on this one, the repeating, the little patterns came into it. And again, there's a connection, but then there's also lots of space coming into this, little bits here and there. And at this time, I'm watching the Olympics in the evening, so I would have this on my lap and adding little things into it. It was an evening of the Olympics, or maybe I was watching, looks like I was watching Stick. And the song Baba O'Reilly came on by The Who. And this is what emerged. And it was such a blast to connect pen to music. Moving back to, you can recognize the large pen here. Oh, this is the first one. I think I started bringing out the white pen. I did not bring the white pen until now because it can be problematic. And I didn't want the not flowing of the ink in this automatic process. I didn't want to fuss with that. So all of the other pens I use, it is a trusted ink flow. And again, just a beautiful spread, big paint pen moving quickly on the page. This was a night I was watching the Olympics. So I kind of had a little loose play. And then I was here for a while. So this ended up becoming more of like that Zentangly kind of style. Just playing with some weird little plants and things that showed up. Moving to something that is more simple, but also has that kind of feminine, kind of organic vibe to it. And then we had this one where I had this landscape kind of showed up, and then I put a picture and replicated this inside there. So again, that's just once you get deep into automatic drawing, then you're like, oh, let me see if I can draw this on the page. And then that took me to day 20. Again, I was playing in my giant journal. I like to do the what surprised me before I do my plus minus next. And so this time I was learning can be definitely used for an emotional release. The rhythm of the music connected with me. Blind drawing, I've done blind contour, but literally to have your eyes closed and just trust that your arm will move on the page. And then the joy from large movement. This is really coming in for me of the freedom of being able to explore is quite enjoyable. It feels within my body. I did love using it. I had to flush emotions a couple times or like to kind of sit with some kind of yucky stuff. The large marker definitely has different energy. So if I was feeling kind of, and really needed to jar myself out of it, a lot of times I'll come with this big one because it makes such a bold statement on the page. You can create value with lines. That was kind of cool. I like that. It felt very energizing when I could keep that brain from judging. And I was intrigued by how large chunks of black can balance large chunks of white, and small parts of black can balance the large chunks of whites. That idea of balance and contrast, loved it. When I began planning is when I would feel myself tighten up. And then the end result, you can see a little more tightness in it. And definitely, I tried again the filming and sharing on social media. Definitely did not work for me with this style of work. And this was with reels. So maybe I'm contemplating perhaps doing a carousel every 10 or 15 days that shows one little video, 10 pics, and a reflection. Other ideas to take into play with, maybe doing a whole series with my eyes closed. Maybe I just focus more on organic shapes. Maybe I do it with continuous line. You know, that popped up today. Maybe I do an abstract, but it's all connected. Maybe I do both hands. So those are some of the ideas I have for how I will play next. Actually, I have a few pages done, but I'm not going to share those with you yet. This, you can see I've had a lot of water coming into the journal, so you can see where the progress is so far. You see examples of it can take many shapes. I can encourage you to play with your tools and to explore them. Let the movement and your curiosity be your guide, not the, oh, I need to find X numbers of things that I can do with this pen. Be open to it, let it be organic. And then when you come back in the reflection, then if you want to make like a little paper, jot down which ones you like, but your hand will know. All right, take care, y'all.